Good morning, Market Snipers. This is Jesse. We're getting started right on 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're on the live stream, awesome. Welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome for the first time. But we have a lot of returning people I already see in the comments. So welcome back, Snipers. And if you're on the replay crew, we're going to go through all the charts first, the first 15 to 30 minutes. And then the second half, the last 15 to 30 minutes, we're going to chart people's requests. So if you comment a symbol or an asset that you want me to chart, please put it in the comments. I'll be happy to take a look at it, and we'll go through all the comments. Good morning, everybody. I see all the comments. Doc, Mauricio, Emmanuel, Rick, what's up? You know, our goal is to hit 100 plus likes. So let's all do our part and try to hit the like button and get to 100 this time. I think the number one is like 50 likes so far. So we're looking at double the likes there. So we'll work on it together. We're going to jump right in, and then we'll come back to all the comments, and we'll start charting everyone's requests after that. So we'll come back to Bitcoin. I want to take a look at start off with the NASDAQ once again. And before we do that, let's put on the big screen there. Don't forget, smash that like, subscribe, and if you want to comment an asset you want me to chart, just make sure you have to be a subscriber, right? So all you have to do is subscribe to YouTube, and then you can comment an asset you want me to take a look at, and put some context to it. You know, are you looking for a buy the dip scenario? Are you looking to take a short on it? Are you just are you in a position already and you want me to take a look at it? So the more details, the better. And that way we can kind of look at it from your lens and my lens together. So, of course, getting right into it, the quick recap is, we had the bearish divergence, we had the lower high, price came down, hit the target, bounce, put in a second lower high, came back down, retested the target again, right? And then we were talking about price putting in a third lower high, and it looks like as of right now, it's starting to find support, right? This is a very key target area. This is another key target area. So we'll see. But as of right now, and it could take some time to play out, or maybe it just breaks down today, right? So bounce here, bounce there, and this is the third one. You could even say on a lower time frame, this is like a double bottom on the wick. So we'll see if this is still the third lower high, or if it comes back up and then kind of retraces back down. But as of right now, I'm expecting lower prices. I'm not expecting this double bottom wick to hold too long. And the more times price retests an area and keeps coming back to it, that support weakens, right? So one test, two tests, three tests, is still in the target one, letting the trending dots catch up, letting the moving averages catch up. So at that point, we're kind of looking at it as like, will this support hold, or is it going to continue to weaken after it's been testing it, and then further breakdown from there? So the daily chart is still bearish, right? The weekly chart is still holding on the weekly chart, but as you can see, it's trending downward, right? So still bullish, but at the same time, it had that bearish divergence, had the RSI sell signal, put in the lower high, put in the lower low on the RSI weekly chart, and the EMA and the RSI continues to trend downward. Still bullish, so it's kind of holding on because of that, but it is trending downward, and it is bearish on the daily chart. It just takes time for things to get turned around, for it to get bearish on the weekly charts and stuff like that. But if you're looking at Apple, you're looking at some of the other ones of the Magnificent Seven, it's looking like, Apple, we'll take a look at it and stuff like that, was bearish on the weekly chart already, had some pending sell signals on the Magnificent Seven. So we'll take a look at it. Let's see. Russell 2000 is ultra bearish, right? So ultra bearish. and back below the 200-week moving average again, right? So if you go by the NASDAQ, you got the 200-week moving average well below target 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So target 1, 2, 3, and 4 is above the 200-week moving average, whereas the Russell 2000, is it leading the way or is it just more bearish, right? It seems like it's kind of leading the way and more bearish, right? So we'll kind of take a look at, the S&P 500 is also bearish, right, on the daily chart. And if we look at the weekly chart, also had a sell signal on the weekly chart, right? So also seems like it's going to break down from this trend line. It hasn't closed below it yet, which to me would signal that, you're going to have a retracement at least to this area, and it would make sense for it to come back down into this target box here and retest the 200-week moving average again. You can kind of see that very similar looking to NASDAQ. You've got the RSI sell signal, you got the lower high. Then that next candle close took that pivot out there, right? That lower low. So you got a lower low, and now it's trending down into bearish territory, right? So now it's bearish on the weekly chart, and it had that sell signal. So it just seems like the NASDAQ is lagging time-wise on the Russell 2000, lagging time-wise on S&P 500, right? So lagging a few weeks on the Russell 2000, possibly lagging S&P 500 by 1 or 2 weeks there, right? So that's what we're kind of watching, all of them together. And then looks like it's lagging, had a had a sell signal on the Dow Jones as well on the weekly chart. So it just seems like the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 had sell signals a couple weeks ago. The NASDAQ is trending that way. And the Russell 2000 had the sell signal like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? So this is like the 4th week, and we're halfway through the week. So seems like NASDAQ will follow the leaders, right? And it looks like it's lagging time-wise. Silver also had a sell signal last week. So silver is ahead of it. Gold had a sell signal last week on the weekly chart, right? So they're all bearish. They're all bearish right now. And the NASDAQ just seems that it's lagging time-wise. So whether it's this week or it's next week, it seems like it's trending towards that direction. And it could very well be this week. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what we're expecting. So the NASDAQ, you got the Magnificent Seven all kind of help propping it up, and they're all possibly going through some bounces. We haven't taken a look at it, but we're going to keep going through. Just take a quick glance at the U.S. 10-year yield, still ultra bullish on the weekly chart, right? Still on path to possibly come up and hit this target. The beginning of the target box is above 5%. Middle of the target box is about 5.3%, and then the top is about 5.4, right? So target area. And then we'll worry about if the 10-year yield gets up to the 6% area. Maybe it goes to a retracement before then. It has a pretty big move. But right now it's ultra bullish on the weekly chart, monthly chart, and the daily chart as of right now. So we'll continue to watch it. You got the dollar still bullish on the weekly chart. Nothing has changed. It did get up into target box 3, and then it's back below it right now, but it already hit it right now. And then we'll see if it's going to, consolidate possibly sideways or get some sort of a retracement before hitting target box 4. See if that happens, but kind of let the trending dots catch up, let those moving averages catch up. And so we'll see, but it's still bullish on the weekly chart. The VIX still bullish on the weekly chart. It wicked up. Remember, this is the wild animal, right? This is the wild animal. And we talked about this on the based off of the daily chart, right? Where the daily chart spike up, spike down, spike up, spike down, spike up, spike down, right? We talked about that, and that's what it does. So even though it's bullish on the weekly chart, you see it's just a crazy move like this on the daily chart, right? It's a wild, wild animal. So that's VIX, SQQ. Still no buy signal on SQQ weekly chart, right? Let me get off the brush. Let me get back on the crosshairs, back on the sniper crosshairs. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, John, NT, Master Chief Sniper. Can we have a look at the chart? Yeah, we're going to jump into all the requests. NT, John, Aldo, Caesar, Lawrence, Emmanuel, Mauricio, Doc, Rick, Rick's Moneymakers, Helton. Yeah, we're going to definitely get into all the chart requests. Again, we're going to try to go through all these charts in the first 15, 30 minutes. Help me smash the like button. The goal is 100 likes. Let's do it. Let's get that algorithm on our team, right? Help me, help you, help me, help you. Win-win situation. So that's that. You can see it's bearish on the crypto, so we can take a look at those. We'll get into those requests. It looks like we got some requests on Matic already, so we'll definitely do that. Smashed it already hard. NT, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Smash it so hard. Let's do it. But let's jump over to Magnificent 7 real quick, and then we'll come back to the requests. So you can see like the NASDAQ isn't fully full on buy signal on the weekly chart. It's there's some bounces along the way. As John pointed out, Tesla looking bullish. Expect bounces, right? So we're going to take a look at it. NVIDIA, right? Still trending downward. So we've got the bearish divergence on the weekly chart, followed by a lower low. So you got a lower high on RSI, a lower low, right? And so will this end up being a lower high? And then do we find a lower low? And then does it flip bearish, right? So that's what we're kind of watching on NVIDIA. If you're looking on the daily chart, we talked about this, right? We definitely talked about this, and we don't know where that lower high is. It seems like that was it. But again, it hasn't fully broken down from this upward trend line as of yet on NVIDIA. And it hasn't broken back down below this longer term upward trend line. Seems like this was that lower high, and it's just kind of getting a retracement back of this big candle closed down in the sell signal. And so it could just do something like, let me get back on the brush here, kind of retrace back up today, tomorrow, and then start to roll over, right? However it plays out, and then it could start to roll over like that. But it's looking like this was the lower high. And so it's too early to call it. And of course, you've got, you could have a higher retracement up here overall. It's possible. But as of right now, it's looking like this is the lower high. And then we're going to see, especially with the sell signal and, reversal candle, stuff like that. So we're going to kind of see if battle support here, it's like we say, or they say, it's hard to kill a bull, right? What's up, Arnold? Welcome. We're going to get into all the comments, all the requests in the second half. We're going to keep going. Meta. So had the fake out to the downside, right? It still looks like you had a lower high here. And then it's looking like this is a lower high. And price was coming down below this trend line at like 298 today. And so it looks like it's the first fake out. And one thing we always talked about in coaching was expect a couple fake outs along the way. I would be disappointed as a swing trader if there wasn't fake outs along the way, right? You've got a wick here, you've got a wick here, you got a wick here. But eventually, there's going to be a candle close below it. And that candle close below it is going to be that higher probability, breakdown. And so really it could kind of keep following this path, right? It came down, come back up, right? Kind of fill in that and then kind of roll over after that. So that's Meta on Facebook. aka Facebook. Let's get back on the sniper crosshairs here. There we go. So still kind of watching that. Had that bearish divergence on the weekly chart. Had the RSI sell signal. Still waiting for that lower high to be put in. And it could happen this week. Could happen next week. Still waiting on that. Possible it puts in longer term bearish divergence. Winning with JO Wednesday. Oh, West Diddy. What's up, West Diddy? Welcome. Winning Wednesdays and money making Mondays, you called it. Cool. All right. So that's Facebook Meta. It's a patience game, right? Patience. You kind of look at it from like you get this long-term upward trend line. It may just take some time kind of going through this topping pattern, right? So just may take time for it to kind of roll over here. Amazon looking more bearish. It's still currently bullish, but it looks like it's going to flip bearish. The trending dots are curling over. You got a red trending dot there. If you look on the daily chart, well, you had this bearish divergence kind of going back here, RSI sell signal, and it's getting close to potentially being in that bearish territory. You had the breakdown. This could be that lower high here. You would think that at some point it would come up and fill this gap. It may not. It may hit this target and bounce off the 200-week moving average first, right? So it's possible that, it may have kind of found short-term support. Maybe it comes back up, puts in that lower high up here like that. So, kind of going back with the brush here, if it comes down like this, there's profit taking before a target right before the 200-week moving average. Seems like a big player could have ran some profit taking at a key target area. Maybe this is a bear flag, right? But maybe it kind of comes back up like this, right? I'm not in an Amazon trade, but I could see it coming back up like this, put in some sort of pattern, like a W pattern, right? And fill that gap and then come back down, right? So be aware of that. You don't want to be getting into the party late on the short position. But if Amazon flips bearish on the weekly chart like Apple did, then you could just see it. Maybe it doesn't get this high on a higher low, and maybe that's it. And after like kind of letting the trading dots catch up, it just rolls over after that, right? So continue to watch the weekly chart and the daily chart as this could be the lower high here. This could be a lower high here. And you're just kind of watching it. Does it come back up into it, put in another lower high, and then breaks back down, right? That's what we're watching on Amazon. Microsoft, let's start with the weekly chart. So very similar on Microsoft, where we saw the bearish divergence on the weekly chart, RSI sell signal, had that low, had that higher low, had another low, right? Had a sell signal. It's a pending buy signal right now, but it's kind of just letting like the EMA catch up on the weekly chart, letting the MAs catch up, letting the trending dots catch up. It's like when you stretch that rubber band out one direction, and you let it go, not only does it come back to the middle, it comes back to the other side and back to the middle, back and forth like that, right? So that's what you're always expecting. And so you're expecting bounces along the way. You're expecting retracements along the way, and then you short those bounces, or if you're buying those dips, you better sell those rips. So it's trending more bearish, right? So we'll keep an eye on it. The daily chart is still bearish. It's we're kind of watching it. It broke down from this trend line. Could be coming back to back test those trending dots, maybe back test that trend line and come back down. However, it doesn't mean that it couldn't come back up and put in a higher low somewhere up in here like that as well, right? Still expecting higher lows along the way, but it is possible that price comes back up and puts in a higher low before trending back down, because the weekly chart still battling the bullish bearish case, even though there's a weekly sell already. It's a pending buy, and it could flip. By the time this week is over, it could flip back down, and the weekly chart remains bearish on the weekly chart. So that's Microsoft. Tesla, I'm going to take a quick water break. Wasn't expecting that from Tesla. So had a breakdown, right? And the weekly chart is getting a bounce. And at the end of the day, could just put in a lower high. So wherever that lower high is, right? So if you had it, let's look at that's the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly chart. So Tesla's still battling, right? There's no sell signal on the weekly chart, right? So it's still battling it. So even the slightest move is going to be a pretty good bounce on the lower time frames. So this is a lower high, this is a lower high, and this could just be a lower high at the end of the day, right? So this is a peak, this is like a lower peak, and then this could be a lower peak here. You still had that RSI sell signal. So it's at the end of this week, it could just end up rolling back over, right? And coming back down. So let's zoom in on the daily chart. It is a pending buy signal, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't just, by the end of the day or a couple days, kind of come back up, put another higher low, and then come back down, right? So it's more of that I would be surprised if it came all the way back up here and filled this gap, but the gap is up there for a reason, right? So it could come all the way back up and fill that. It's not even quite 4% gap. So that's kind of looking at right there. But really, it's still a downward. Let me get the trend line on here. It's still downward, right? So it's trending downward still, unless it started to break back out above there, right? So that's what you're kind of watching. Like you could have like that higher low and have it come back in to that trend line like that. And then that's how you'd want to like set up that next potential. If you're looking to short the next potential, right? Then that's kind of like price kind of comes up and then you see it kind of start breaking back down from there. So that's what I'm kind of seeing on Tesla. It is a wild animal though. So, it's got quite the big following. There's, you've got Elon with the X app, always putting out content, stuff like that. So you better really know Tesla in and out if you're going to be trading it, whether it's the upside or the downside, and be aware of that. But, it's kind of going through more of a consolidation period right now. So if you kind of look at it like this, right, don't get chopped up. If you're looking to trade it, you may have to drop down to a lower time frame. Don't get chopped up on, it's kind of going into this consolidation. You'd want to wait for like a bigger move of like a longer term trend line. So if it starts breaking back down below here, or if it just does a complete 180, right, and comes back out, maybe does a retest and comes back up, right? I think this is less likely of a scenario because it seems like overall the weekly chart has been starting to trend downward, right? So it seems like it's going to kind of go through this, continue to go through this consolidation and then look for a bigger move after that. So doesn't look as interesting for me, but if you look at it kind of like even on the RSI, right? How it's kind of consolidating even on the RSI. You got this, you've got this, right? So kind of lines up with like the price trend lines. You're looking for like a bigger move. You're like, is it going to like break out to the upside or is it going to break down to the downside? I'm leaning towards the downside, but doesn't mean that Tesla won't break out to the upside. It's always a possibility. So we'll see how it works out and how it plays out. But I would personally, I'd be leaning towards going through this consolidation up here and then watching, see if it breaks down, similar to the other assets on the Magnificent Seven, and then comes back down to these lower target areas. So we'll see. We'll see. Apple. Let's look at the weekly chart. Still bearish on the weekly chart as of now, right? Came down, hit target 2, continuing to hold for now, right? But even the EMA, right, is starting to get below, or it's right on the 50 line, right? So as the EMA starts to get into bearish territory as well, you can see some bigger moves to the downside on the weekly chart, and it's just reaffirming that it's still bearish on a weekly chart. It's just kind of waiting for like the trending dots to catch up, the moving averages catch up, like that. And doesn't mean there's not a bounce along the way that could take a few days, a week, whatever it is along the way. But the daily chart is bearish, the weekly chart is bearish, the RSI EMA is trending downward. It's starting to get into bearish territory. It's right on the edge of becoming bearish. So overall, it's becoming bearish. But of course, expect bounces along the way. Usually it just doesn't go in a straight line to hit all the targets all at once. That's Apple. That's what we've been watching since the sell signal up here at 183. Google, right? It's not looking like this is the lower high, obviously. So we'll see where the lower high is going to be. Still watching it. It's back above this trend line that we drew. So if you kind of zoom in here, still the same trend line. So wherever it is, wherever it puts in that lower high, we're watching for closes below it, right? So you can kind of see where this closed below it and still battling it. So if you kind of just adjust it right there, that's kind of what I'd be waiting for, is like if you're looking for that higher low to short the bounce, then you're looking for somewhere around like that. So even kind of like drew this out, expecting a higher low. And this could still possibly be a higher low, but it seems less likely since there's only a handful of hours left in the trading day. So it would have to close back below 135. Well, I mean, that's not that far off. If it closes back below the 135, it could still put in that that this still could be the higher low. But it's looking less likely. So a higher low up here, somewhere around up in here, is possible. And then you just kind of see if it's going to break down from there, right? So wherever it is, and then break back down and come back down, retest this target, maybe fill some lower gaps, stuff like that. Let's look at the weekly chart. You have that bearish divergence, and then you're still waiting, still looking on that lower high on the weekly chart for Google as well, right? Still currently bullish on the weekly chart. So these bounces are going to be higher, right? As the weekly chart becomes more bearish, the bounces or the rips could be a lot less, right? So that's what we're kind of watching right now. Let's get back over to the Sniper Top 40, which has become the Sniper 1 million. So let's take a look at it. We'll go back to the comments and we'll start looking at everyone's requests. Good morning, Jesse. Could you chart XRP crypto? Yes, definitely. So let's start getting through it. We're right at the 30-minute mark, and let's jump right into it. So XRP, right? This is the daily chart. And so kind of going back to XRP, right? We pointed out that it had that bullish divergence, very similar to all the other crypto assets, Rick. And then we were watching it. It looks like it was putting in that sneaky higher lows. And then price was breaking above the trend line, was breaking back. Let me just kind of zoom in here so you can see it a little bit better, right? Price closed above the trend line, back tested, closed back above the trading dots, and then the next one had a buy signal. Price came all the way back up, hit target 1 at about 55 cents, very close to it. And is still bullish at this moment, right? So it's still bullish, still trending upward. And so it's possible that we see price come back up, hit target 2, and then we'll see about target 3 or target 4. So even it came back, down this retracement of this big candle up, uh, it's starting to push back up now, and it's still bullish on the daily chart. Weekly chart also had a buy signal, but the buy signal is below the trending dots. So be cautious on it, that it could just be one of those quick pumps, one of those quick wicks up. Uh, XRP is notorious for it. A quick pump up, even on the daily candle, right? XRP is very notorious for this. One daily candle pump all the way up to hit multiple targets and then drop right back down, right? So it hasn't happened yet, but that's what it does. It kind of lulls you to sleep, kind of like makes you bored of it, right? Makes you bored of it, and then boom, one daily candle, and that's it. And then if you didn't get out and you didn't take profit, you're watching everyone on the X app and the YouTube app talk about how XRP is going to $2.50, and yet it's breaking back down, all the way back down to 42 cents, right? Until took out this pivot area. So that's what you have to be aware of. Had these higher targets up here, but only hit two of the four of those targets before reversing back down. So that's XRP. Not much else to really talk about, but the weekly chart is bullish still, and the daily chart is still bullish, Rick. Good evening, Goof. Evening from Germany. Good evening from Germany. Doc, welcome back. Good morning, Jesse. Today, I'll see it later. Awesome. You'll be on the replay crew. Don't forget to smash that like, Mauricio, even on the replay crew. We want to see it. Emmanuel, good morning, boss. Where's the short all 100X button? Ugh. I've never, ever in my entire life have ever took a long or short position with 100X. Never even cared to try it, right? So the highest I've ever done is 20X leverage, and it was a shorter term play. I'm sorry. That's on crypto. On forex, I've done 30X before, but it was shorter time periods, and so it's more of like day trading and scalping, but that's about it. So never done the 100X. But welcome back, Emmanuel, longtime sniper. Good morning, everyone. Game time. That's my own comment. Lawrence, Matic looking to buy. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Matic, Lawrence. You're looking to buy. So for us, we're looking for the breakouts, right? So you have to just decide if you're looking on like what time frame are you on, Lawrence? Are you still looking to buy? What's the scenario? So we didn't check off the box of hitting the target, even though it got rejected twice. But today, it spiked down, it spiked up and hit the target. So we're going to check off the target box here on Matic, right? So it has hit the target box. We had a candle close above this downward trend line back here at 52 cents, Lawrence. Another candle close above the trending dots. Continue to trend up, and then boom, had the pending buy signal and a buy signal there. Didn't quite hit the target box. Didn't quite hit it. The trending dots are starting to trend back up. Hit target 1. So you just kind of have to decide at what point are you buying. What's triggering you to buy at this point? Like, I'd rather personally get back in around this area here, and then try to ride it as long as I can to hit target 1, target 2, whatever the targets are. Let's look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart is still bearish, right? So got to keep that in mind overall. These are like shorter term targets of potential buy the dip, sell the rip type of scenarios. So maybe you're on a much lower time frame, Lawrence. We're not really sure. Let us know if you're in if you're talking about like a shorter time frame or a longer term time frame, because on the weekly chart, it's a no for me, right? And of course, none of this is financial advice. This is for educational purposes and hopefully some entertainment along the way. We should do some dad jokes here or there. I've got this dad joke button. I haven't rolled it out yet. It's hit or miss. There's like 250 dad jokes. He laughs at his own jokes. Classic dad joke type of situation. Let me know in the comments if you want me to hit the dad joke button. I don't even know if we'll be able to hear it on the live stream, but I do have the dad jokes button. Let me know. Here, let's see. Can you see it? There you go. Dad jokes. My wife got that for me. She's always making fun of me for having dad jokes. I've got a dad jokes button. Some of them are funny. It's hit or miss. Some of them are just ridiculous and stupid, right? So you just have to decide. It could, after hitting target, could have came back down. I wasn't paying attention to it. Let's see a lower time frame so we can get a better look for it. Could be finding support on the 8-hour chart. You can kind of redraw the trend line kind of like this, kind of lines up with those trending dots. Could build momentum back up, right? And then continue upwards after that. So that's the 8-hour chart. There was that bearish divergence on the 8-hour chart. It could be cleared already. It's hard to say. It's the move was back here at 52 cents. And, it's hit target one so far, keeping in mind the weekly chart is still bearish. And it would take some time for the weekly chart to get turned around, maybe a week or two. Who knows? We'll look at it from there. Let's keep going. Caesar, can you chart pen? Sure. Let's chart pen right now. Let's take a look at it. 1-hour time frame. Lawrence. Okay. That's a whole different game. 1-hour time frame. There was a sell signal on Matic on the 1-hour time frame, right? So had the buy signal, sell signal, right? So it's kind of a wait and see. I don't know if it's super aggressive, if there was like a buy signal and you're kind of waiting for it to get back out like that, right? So maybe it kind of consolidates. It's kind of choppy right now. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it finds support and then comes out like that. So it's kind of wait and see. The 1-hour chart is kind of choppy. Doesn't mean it couldn't come back down lower. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for the lower time frame there. Not much to really see. It's kind of up and down at that point right there. Let's see. Let's go back to pen. Pen. Let's take a look. Is it Penn Entertainment, Caesar? Let me know. Is it Penn Entertainment? Probably, right? But just so I don't spend too much time on the wrong asset, let me know if it's Penn. And are you looking for a buy signal? Are you in a short? What are you looking at? Is it a long-term play for you? The weekly chart is still bearish, right? The weekly chart is well below the 200-week moving average. It's still in a bear market from the all-time high up here at 141. It's currently just under $21 right now. Still bearish. You got the March 2020 lows here at just under $4. Doesn't mean that it's going to, but many other stocks, including Amazon, has retraced back to there. And as of right now, there doesn't seem like a ton of support. It's trending that way. I don't know when it's going to happen, how long it'll take. I don't know if you're in a short position. You let me know, but keeping in mind that it could do a full retracement from the March 2020 lows, and you can see where the weekly chart hasn't been this low since May of 2020, right? So the probabilities continue to stack that it's going to come back down, test this area, maybe at $8, maybe test this area here at $14. It's trending downward right now. It's bearish on the daily chart. And so, it's not a buy. It's not a buy for me. So I'm not sure what you're looking for, or if you're just waiting patiently like a true sniper would, waiting for your I haven't charted Rivian, Arnold, we could take a look at it, but we charted it yesterday, I believe, or on the previous stream, but not yet today. Okay, Caesar. Hope that helps. It's bearish on the daily, bearish on the weekly. This is the March 2020 lows. And it's possible that it does a full retracement back down from here, right? So it's possible. Obviously, no guarantee, but there just doesn't seem like there's a ton of support. Maybe there's some support right here. You got the weekly chart. Let's just kind of eyeball that there, right? Yeah, weekly support. That would be kind of like the next support area. If it doesn't hold that, then you can kind of see the March 2020 lows, the wick, right? Kind of go like that. So seems like, the probabilities continue to stack that it's going to come back down to this weekly support. So long-term, thanks. You got it, Caesar. So you want to see if it's going to find support, at this, below $18, whatever, but it's a weekly chart. So it's going to take some time for the ship to get turned around, uh, maybe months, weeks, who knows? So we'll keep going. Good morning, Olson, with the EN. Thanks, Aldo, for misspelling my name. I appreciate it. I know I'm going to chop up a lot of and mispronounce many things. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes on this live stream as far as like pronunciations. And so keep me humble, Aldo. Keep misspelling my name on purpose. Love it. It's awesome. Could we do Matic and AVAX? Yep, we just did Matic. So we could take a look at AVAX. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for returning to the live stream. Aldo, let's see. AVAX, where are you? I know it's in the Sniper Top 40. If I can't find it quickly, then I'll just, that's AVE. There it is. Oh, no, that's AVAX BTC. AVAX BTC. Where is AVAX? I can just do a search. Crypto, AVAX. And take a look at it. There it is. Okay, so weekly chart is still currently bearish, right? So let's kind of look up into here. Obviously, we have these targets, Aldo, for the daily chart. So as of right now, just expecting it kind of like maybe come back up into the trending dots, hit target 1, come back up in trending dots, possibly spike up in target 2, 3, or even 4. But as of right now, it's still bearish on the weekly chart overall. There are signs of life, but still has some work to do. Daily chart is a different story, right? So broke out of this downward trend line, had a buy signal, kind of battled it, retested the trending dots, and then pushed off of it nicely after that. So if you bought back down here at like 9 on the breakout of the downward trend line, and as it was getting more bullish on the daily chart, then you had to kind of go through some ups and downs of the couple days, and now it's trending towards that first target box, and the probabilities are stacking up. It's gonna. I mean, I'd be surprised if it doesn't hit the first target box, and then kind of watch and wait for it after that, and see what happens. If it hits target 2, 3, and possibly target 4, keeping in mind the weekly trending dots are probably around like this $11 area, and could get rejected there as overhead resistance, while the weekly charts are kind of letting the moving averages and the trending dots kind of catch up from there. So that's what I'm kind of seeing there. Are you in a looking too long? Well, I don't like to chase, me personally. So if you didn't get back in, you have to make your own decisions. But me personally, I'm looking to get back in. I'm looking to get in around like just above that $9 area, right? Probably when it was a pending buy signal, and then it's kind of set your stop loss down here, and then hold it until it starts hitting targets, and have an exit strategy at that point. So, I mean, you have to decide. Had the, it's already at like almost $10 and coming in to target one, right? Keeping in mind that the weekly chart is still bearish. So you have to decide what your plan is. Tesla looking bullish. Yep. John loves Tesla. We know that. John loves Tesla. We're going to get to all the comments. Hernan, we're going to get to them all. Is it Somber or Zomber? I know I'm going to make Lawrence. Thanks. You're welcome. We're going to get into all the comments. And if I mispronounce your name, I apologize in advance. That's why Aldo is misspelling my name on purpose, because many people do EN, or they'll put an I in Jesse. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Even my own godmother still does it from time to time. After 40, my aunt, my mom's sister, after 44 years, still misspells my name. Don't take it personally. I'm just bad at pronouncing names. And we've got people tuning in from around the world, right? With several different countries. So that's not my forte. My forte is charts and swing trading. So, I apologize in advance. NT, Master Chief Sniper, can you look at the chart of CGC? Sure. Is that crypto? Is that stock? Let me know so I can search for it much faster. Otherwise, and make sure that I'm charting the right one. CGC. Growth Corporation, is that NASDAQ? Let me know in the comments, NT. Is that correct? Is that the right one? Weekly chart. This is the daily chart. Still currently bearish. Trending dots are still trending downward. After this buy signal back here in August, pumped up, had a nice big retracement. It looks like it was a pretty big retracement from down here. 300%. That's insane bounce. If you caught that, that would be awesome. Now it's kind of consolidating, and is it going to put in a lower high, right? After this big spike up, is it retracing? And at some point, is it going to put in a lower high? Let's look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart had that RSI buy signal, right? Went through a bottoming phase since November 2021. Had that longer term bullish divergence. This could be also not really, but is this the bottom? Is it going to put in a higher low? It's too early to say, but it could be one of those buy the dip scenarios. And you do have a 200-week moving average up here at $10. I mean, that would be insane if it was like something similar to Tilray, right? So Tilray had a larger spike up as well that got closer. So eyeballing it from 479, this target, maybe a target 2, 3, possibly even target 4, coming all the way up here, right? Could be another potential massive bounce. I don't know if it's going to bounce all the way back up at some point, but that's a massive potential. It has not retested the 200-week moving average since July 2021. So it's been bearish for a long time. It's been in a it's been in a bear market since February 2021. So March 2020 lows, it took out the March 2020 lows, and it's just been bearish, right? This is the first signs of life really in a long time in August, and it spiked up. And it looks like it put in a higher high on the weekly chart for RSI. So will it put in a higher low at some point on the weekly chart? And, will it put in a higher low on the daily chart? So it could come back down and get some sort of a further correction first, right? It's still bearish on the daily chart. So kind of what I'd be looking for, if you're looking for the next scenario, let's see, kind of draw this out here. It's kind of too early to say. At some point, it might put in like another wick here and come back down, and then continues to consolidate, and maybe take some time for it to play out, and then wait for like that higher probability, because there's just not a lot of, it seems like it would kind of consolidate longer time wise, right? So maybe you have to put on like some sort of like horizontal. Let's see. Let's take a look at the daily. So you've got like horizontal here, right? So if it's starting to get back up above and then starting to look more bullish at that point, but it seems like it would just kind of like uh, consolidate for a longer period of time. So, I mean, it is starting to flip back around, but it could just come back up, get rejected, and come back down, right? So could retest these lowers down here, this lower area down here, and some sort of like future, retest, right? Puts in a second wick here, NT. So it's kind of a wait and see. Maybe it does something like that. And then that would be your like next potential buy the dip scenario. So it's kind of hard to say because that was just such a quick pump up and then right back down. So it's almost like catching lightning in a bottle. You got 1, 2, let's see, from the buy signal, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 or 9 days only, and then right back down. So it's going to take some time probably for it to consolidate, maybe a couple of weeks, and then maybe it finds and puts in a higher low and finds support, and then maybe comes back down, retests these trending dots. Ooh, did I hit the mute button? Let me double check. Nope. Okay, we're good. Sometimes I've hit the mute button in the past. I had like a 2 or 3 minute rant. So that's about it on Canopy Growth Corporation, NT, and we'll keep going. So thank you. I appreciate it. Smash that like button hard. NT, smash that subscribe. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Smash, smash, smash. All right. Let's keep going. Sip of water. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's rally. Deep breath. Let's rally. Arnold, what's up? What's up, Arnold? Welcome back. Man, wasn't expecting that from Tesla. Yep. Expect bounces along the way. Winning with Jo Wednesday. West Diddy. Grant, loving the content. Grant, longtime sniper, welcome back. Glad you're here on the live stream and the replay crew as well. 1 hour time frame. Yep, covered that. Have you already charted Rivian? Nope, we can take a look at it. Arnold, are you still here? Let me know, Arnold, if you're still here. We take a look at Rivian real quick. We did look at, I think it was yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we looked at it yesterday. Let's see. Somewhere. Oh, I think it was up here. There it is. 7% today, right? Bounced here. Still could be possibly a lower high, right? Had the RSI sell signal. Caesar, morning listening from the office. Great content. Thanks, Caesar. Welcome back. Hopefully you don't get in trouble. You're listening in the office. Don't want people to get in trouble just because they're listening to me. But this, as of right now, potentially lower high, broke down, kind of came back up, back down, right? It's battling it. What's it going to do, right? What's it going to do? It's kind of going through this consolidation period on the weekly chart, right? Let's look at the daily chart. So, lower high, higher low, higher low. It's kind of consolidating and just basically going sideways. After this bounce here, it's kind of just going sideways. So you're kind of like, if you were to draw this out, right? You could draw like that. You could even be more conservative from there. It's back below this trend line here. So, it's one of those kind of wait and sees. When the wait and see. So big move down, retracement back up, right? Going sideways. So let's look at the weekly chart. Same, is still holding on bullish, but maybe it just takes a couple weeks to kind of play out. And remember, there is a gap back down here. So at some point, it could fill that gap and consolidate and then make its next move out. So let's see. Let's look at the line chart. This could be the higher low, higher low, higher low, but it could come all the way back down. Remember, this is a big move back up like this. At some point, it could come back up. It could come back down on like the weekly chart, consolidate, take some more time, and then that would be your bigger move out, right? So it'd be kind of a wait and see for me. What's it going to do? Is it going to consolidate, come back down, put in like a higher low down here, and then come out like that? So if you kind of look at it from like this standpoint here, like drawing it back longer term, right? Maybe you kind of draw it back like this, right? Maybe something like that. So that's what I'm kind of seeing right there. You know, it's very close. It's like it's teetering one way or the other. There was an RSI sell signal. Does look like it's putting in lower highs there. So it's kind of right in the middle of the road. It's not trending one way or the other. It's just after this big bounce, it's down. It's up, it's down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, up. That's Rivian. Let's get back on the candles. Let's keep going. Caesar, long-term thanks. You got it. Lawrence, thanks. You got it. When do you expect Bitcoin to hit its bottom? Higher or low around 18 and 20,000. Should we wait until then to buy altcoins for long term? Yeah, I mean, Somber, we don't give financial advice. You have to make your own decisions. I'm just showing you what I see in the charts. When? I don't know. We don't have a magic crystal ball, but we did. I did do a deeper dive on Bitcoin yesterday afternoon. So definitely go check out that video on that. And I posted it. And if you're a part of the free newsletter group as well, I send out all the videos through the newsletter too, so go ahead and become a free newsletter so that you get it delivered to your email, or if you have like notifications on your YouTube, you could get the updates there. And I also post in the Discord as well. So it's hard to say because it hasn't started fully rolling over yet on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at it. But after hitting target 3, and we did a deeper dive on it, you know, and yesterday's stream as well, we talked about it a little bit, that after coming back down, it could kind of do something like this and then wait for it to kind of roll over after that. So I think it's less likely, and we talked about, did a deeper dive on it. It's less likely that that price comes all the way back up, hits target 4. It's possible, comes all the way back up to target 4, and it comes back down, right? So this is the trend line in the sand, right? So if price is starting to break back down from there, that's when I'm going to say, hey, it seems like the probabilities are continuing to increase that we're going to come back and hit this target. So 18 to 20,000, you know, it doesn't, $20,000 doesn't matter to me until it breaks down from this trend line. This target, let me say that again. This target box at 18 to 20. Let's go back. Let's start from the bottom. I talked about this on the video, right? That I did on the deeper dive. This target box doesn't mean anything to me until this target box gets hit. This box doesn't mean anything until this one gets hit. This one doesn't mean as much to me until price starts to break back down from this trend line here, right? So taking it level by level, if price is starting to break back down from this trend line here and starts closing below it, then this target box becomes a higher probability, right? Price hits this target box, this one becomes a higher probability, and so on, and so on, and so on, right? So I don't worry about $10,000 Bitcoin. I don't worry about $4,000 Bitcoin. I don't worry about $18,000 Bitcoin. I'm watching it in real time. Is it going to break out here? And the reason why it matters to me on that is because I'd be watching, for a short position, right? So I'm a higher probability short position is that, it's breaking down from this trend line. Most likely there's a sell signal on the daily chart as well. And then we're watching it break down in real time. and then we'll try to push the trade as long as possible, hit this target, expect bounces along the way, right? If this were to play out, wherever it breaks down, expect bounces along the way, and it'd be something like that, right? So that's what we're waiting, watching, and we're kind of, if you want to take that deeper dive on Bitcoin, definitely go check out that video. And that's what I spent 14 minutes diving into Bitcoin on that. And so go take a look on YouTube. You can find it also through the free newsletter as well. So good point though. But I just can't give you financial advice. I don't want to. I want you to be able to learn this for yourself so that you don't need me anymore, so that you can, what the old saying is, instead of giving a man a fish one time, right? Teach a man how to fish so they can fish on their own, something like that. I know I didn't do that quote justice, right? But we're gonna keep moving on. Do you think BTC and Sol are done with the pump? Regards from Chile. Well, yeah, go take a look at the video. I did spend 14 minutes on it, Hernan, also. So as of right now, it seems like it is. And if you look at the overall, stock market as well, and then you've got DXY and you've got the VIX, all that stuff, but expect bounces along the way. So it's too early to call it. There's no sell signal. It hasn't broken down from the upward trend lines, right? So it's too early to call it, and it could take some time to kind of play out here, right? Could take some time to kind of play out, days or a couple weeks. We talked about this back here. Like, even when price, if you go back to previous videos, my thoughts are still the same. And I even kind of like followed up on this on the longer video, but like, price comes back down, find support, bounces. And I talked about this could take weeks or months to play out. And so far it's taken weeks and more than a month to play out, right? So it's right on schedule. It really is right on schedule of what we thought. If you look at the weekly chart, let me clean up some of these. This is all from the video, right? It's all from the video yesterday. We talked about this and we went into more detail again. We talked about this from here. It could kind of go up like this, put in a lower high, right shoulder, and come back down. And we talked about, even when it was finding support, it could take weeks, if not months, for this to kind of play out in real time. It's a weekly chart. It takes time, right? So we'll see how it does. It got rejected. We drew out a new trend line, downward trend line. There is that fourth target box up here. Just seems like it's getting less likely that it's going to play out. So we'll see. Let's see what else we got. We're a little over an hour. We're going to keep going. Morning, listening from the office. Great content. Thanks, Caesar. Awesome. Yeah, we already talked about that. Are you in natural gas? We can take a look at natural gas. Let's see. Where is natural gas? There it is. There it is. So, the weekly chart is still the weekly chart is still bullish, right? The daily chart is still bullish, and this is a longer term trend line. So, if you're still in a position, right? If you're still in a position and you get like another milestone here, is that if you're closing back above here on the daily chart, you get to close back above this horizontal line. That's another milestone that the probabilities continue to increase to come back up into this target and hit and possibly retest the 200-week moving average. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, but it could take weeks to play out, but it is trending in that way. And we also talked about, if you got that weekly close back above like this area here, right? that was bullish. And that did it last week as well. And then price came back, kind of retested, very close, didn't quite hit the weekly it broke through, kind of came back, didn't fully retest, but it did look like it flipped into support from resistance and support and then pushed off of it, right? So the weekly chart is still bullish. The daily chart is still bullish. So if you're in a position, would you continue to be holding it and pushing it as long as possible, right? So obviously we don't give financial advice, and we don't talk, we don't tell you what to do, right? But if the weekly chart is bullish, the daily chart is bullish, are you riding this out and continuing to push it as long as you can, right? That's a question that you have to decide for yourself per 06. Hola, Jesse, gracias. Ooh, I don't know Spanish, right? I just know a few words here or there. Could you look at chart XOXS? I do have Google Translate, so I have to go back to Portu Contiendo. My pronunciation for Spanish is even worse than English, right? So it's similar to SQQQ, but with semiconductors. Okay, so it's the inverse. Yeah, I've looked at this before a long time ago. I had a lot of these type of ETFs in the past, but we can take a look at it real quick. Let's take a look. Semiconductors, right? Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart is still currently bearish, and you can see, like, over time this is a losing trade for long positions, right? So it's more of like you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle. You're trying to get like a big pump up to wherever that is, but it's super high risk, right? So just keep that in mind. It's super high risk, and if you don't take profit, you're going to lose money, right? At some point you have to take profit on a pump, or you're going to lose money. However, there are signs of life on the weekly RSI. It's currently at 42. There is a buy signal on RSI as well. And we've got green trending dots on the weekly chart as well. So a quick eyeball test is, if we're looking at it, you can see like maybe some shorter term preliminary. And if price kind of like bounces and then flips this resistance into support, then I could see like these longer term targets possibly getting hit, right? Something like that. But it would have to get through this first. And you may not want to hold it long term, but there are signs of life on the weekly chart. So let's look at the daily chart. Let's get back on the sniper crosshairs over there. Let's see. So you probably want to play this on like a shorter time frame, because from here, you had the bullish divergence and then you had a breakout. And these are such short-term pumps, like a week or so, but they're pretty big. So it's 28%. And then it's like break back down, put in a higher low, and then another pump, break back down. And then you've got a sell signal on the daily chart. So you just got to kind of decide, like, when is your next position going to be? Are you currently in a position, or are you looking for the next buy the dip scenario? So that would be kind of like that next wait for the next, type of buy the dip scenario. And most likely it's already hit like target here, target there, right? Target there. And then if it breaks through all of that and then flips this into support, puts in a higher low, possibly down here, right? If it puts in some sort of higher low, comes all the way back down, that's kind of what you're looking for on the next potential buy the dip scenario. Something like that, right? Something very similar to this, where it came down and then broke out, right? So it's going to be a very similar scenario, right? Where it kind of like consolidates and then breaks out, consolidates, and then breaks out and it's going to continue to probably do that and not have one of those bigger pumps until the weekly chart is bullish again. And the weekly chart is not bullish. There's signs of life and it's gaining relative strength, but it's not bullish yet. So you could continue to see this play out, go through like this consolidation and not get one of those massive pumps. But once it goes bullish on the weekly chart, similar to like natural gas that we just covered, then you could see like a bigger move from there. So hope that helps, Marco. Can you chart Stellar XLM? Sure, we can do that. Let's take a look at it. XLM. Sure, it's crypto, right? Crypto. Let's see. Binance Perpetual. Binance. Let's take a look at it. Daily chart is currently bearish. Weekly chart has been trending down since that pump at 19 cents, almost 20 cents, right? So from back down here, you had bullish divergence, right? Followed by a higher low back here. So bullish divergence longer term. MDA Digital Ventures, right? Bullish divergence, higher low, massive pump up, right? So massive. So even from there to there, 120%. And then that looks like it was about it, right? Then it started breaking back down below the 200-week moving average, breaking down, sell signal, buy signal, pending sell signal, all while the RSI sell signal, EMA is trending down. It's starting to get more bearish. So will it find support? Will it create another higher low? Wherever that is, you'd probably be waiting for another higher low if you're looking for another re-entry. And it could take some time for the ship to get turned around. That might have been the pump, right? And then you could see possibly prices come back down lower, put in a higher low at some point, and then flip back around and maybe it gets another pump after that. So pending sell on the weekly chart, currently bearish on the daily chart. And that's pretty much it. It's back below, you had that sell signal back here, right? You had the bearish divergence here. So that was giving you a warning shot. This is the lower high. So going back to the daily chart, right? You have bearish divergence followed by a lower high at 16 cents. So even if you didn't catch, like if you're in a long position from back here, all the way back at 8 cents, right? Say it was from the buy signal, right? Even if you didn't catch that wick at 127, you got bearish divergence forming here. And then you say you even waited for a higher low to get put in, still 80%, right? Or if you waited for the sell signal, probably less, like 70%, but currently bearish on the daily chart, pending sell signal on the weekly chart. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing there. G-Rod here for the dad jokes. Well, go ahead and put a dad joke. Kick it off, G-Rod. Kick off the dad jokes in the comment section, right? I don't know if I'm ready to pull out the dad jokes button yet. I don't know. Maybe got to save it for a special occasion or something. But if you got any dad jokes, G-Rod, make us laugh and put it in the comment section. But we're going to be brutally honest, right? We're going to let you know if it's good or bad. Let's see. We got a couple more. Hernan. Thanks, Jesse. You got it, Hernan. Thank you. G-Rod, can we check out AMD? You got it. Let's look at AMD. I'm fairly certain that I have it on the watch list. So let me see if I can just find it quickly. If not, I'll just put it in the search. All right, G-Rod, let's take a look at it. Stocks, AMD. Take a look at it. Yep, there it is. Okay. So, G-Rod, let me know. Are you in AMD? Are you looking for a buy the dip scenario? What are you looking to do? or you just want to know, like, is there a wait and see, or were you in a play? Were you in the rally? Did you take profits and now you're kind of waiting and seeing? What's your plan over here? So kind of going back, right? This is the all-time high up here at 157-ish, right? On the close, higher in the wick, call it 160. Price broke all the way down, right? As a quick recap, broke all the way down. We even covered this, 67%. So a lot more than the NASDAQ. Came back, went below the 200-week moving average, right? You've got the March 2020 lows back here at $37. Whether that happens or not, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 36.50 March 2020 lows. Whether that happens or not, we don't know yet. We'll take it level by level, but we'll put it on the chart. And then they had the nice rally, okay? And this could be a longer term lower high. And then, started breaking back down from there. So started closing back below, RSI sell signal, right? Starting to consolidate. Looks like lower highs are being put in, lower lows are being put in. And so you've got like the overall weekly chart is bearish, right? Came back down to these original targets, right? Kind of remove these here after hitting all those targets to the upside. If you look from this pivot point down here all the way up to here, you can see that, target 1, target 2, probably target 3 is coming in just above the 200-week moving average. Seems like the probabilities continue to increase that we're going to see lower targets and or possibly retest the 200-week moving average. So let's redraw this one as well. I kind of like this trend line here. You can see the back test there. Let's see, where is this coming in at? Yeah, right there. So this was a fake out to the downside, followed by a huge move up to the upside. You kind of zoom in here. Has been battling, and then broke down, right? Broke down, and now you have the trending dots continuing to trend downward. So if you kind of draw this out longer term, the longer term downward trend line, kind of draw it out like that, right? And it kind of lines up with those trending dots coming back down. So could see price kind of come back up, let everything kind of catch up, and then continue to trend down. Probably another target area down here, close to that 200-week moving average. And then we'll see from there. Does it go lower at that point? Does it get back below the 200-week moving average on AMD? So it's a wait and see for me. The weekly chart is not there. Of course, the daily chart could have a bounce, right? Could always be a bounce on the daily chart. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Maybe you're on a lower time frame. It's kind of shooting in the dark unless you know what the game plan is. But you do see that it's possibly finding support on the daily chart. So you could get like a higher bounce back up, right? Before rolling back over. But it's still currently bearish on the daily chart, still currently bearish on the weekly chart. So it may be just doing like a move like this where there's buy signal back up and then continues to roll back over, right? Maybe there's some sort of buy signal back up and then kind of rolls back over. That's what I would assume would happen, right? Stay neutral, but that's what I would assume while the weekly chart is still bearish and the trending dots are up here at like 107, trending down close to the downward trend line. So that's what I kind of see on AMD. Anything else? What else are we looking for? Babster, I'm scaling into a longer term position. Okay. On what? What are you looking at? Be happy to take a look at it for you. We're at about hour 20 minutes. Oh, on BTC. I'm scaling into a longer term position. Based off of what time frame, Babster? What are you looking at? What are you looking at scaling in on BTC? What chart are you looking at? The weekly chart, or you just think overall, that that maybe the the lows are in for Bitcoin, right? Are you thinking that? Or let me know what your thoughts are. Happy to look at it. But uh, for me, it's, it could be putting in that lower high as we've been talking about for more than a month or so. But definitely, Babster, take a look at that video. I did a deeper dive for 14 minutes. With that, I think we're going to call it hour 20 minutes. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for all your support. I appreciate you. Smash that like button. Let's try to get to that 100 plus likes. Go take a look at BTC 14-minute video yesterday. Talked about it a little bit on the live stream yesterday as well. And let me know if you have any questions, comments, and I will see you on the next live stream and the next video that comes out. Thank you. Later.